Hey everybody, Edo here, and I'm excited because I have my mom on the line. Say hello, Marlena.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Eddie. Eduardo.
Yes, that's me. And, many are familiar with the video you did for Herbaceous and Sunset Over Water, but, due to, yeah, they were wonderful, but due to recent issues, we actually haven't been able to hang out and play games together in person, you know, in a long time. Over a year and a half it's been since I last saw you, I think, something like that.
Or even hug.
Or even hug. Yeah, that too. That first. Um, thanks. But one of the things that I've been working on is a new game, and I wanted to tell you about it and sort of give you an idea of how to play. And then maybe when we get together, we can play together. And so that game is Floriferous, right here. It's the same size as Herbaceous, which you're familiar with, but it's a different game, designed by the same guy, Steve Finn. And but in Floriferous, you are actually walking through a garden, and in that garden there are all of these incredible flowers. And one of the super amazing things, so this is a different artist. This is Clementine Campardou. She's French, and
Absolutely wonderful.
yeah, and she
Beautiful.
all of this work was not created digitally. It was all created on paper with watercolors. So she
Mm,
did this amazing watercolor work, and then essentially scanned it, and then it was put into the game. So just
beautiful.
all these sort of gorgeous cards and pieces together, right?
Really beautiful.
Yeah, it's super amazing to see the process. We have some. She recorded herself working in a few places, which is a lot of fun. And we have other fun little bits like the tokens the players use are really pretty, and just going for the usual thing we've been trying to do with all of our games and making them look great and fun. But this one's been a blast because it's again in that lightweight zone where you can really play like this. I think I'd like to think you'd love this game, and certainly when we get to play, you'll tell me for sure one way or the other. But when you've been playing some games on Zoom and otherwise some Boggle, you've been doing some Boggle Zoom. But have you had a chance to play much games like card games and such, or not so much?
Yes, just this weekend with my granddaughter. She taught me several games,
Oh, fantastic, fantastic.
and we played crowd, your game.
Oh,
Um, and and so I was brought into this world a little more by my 12-year-old grand.
yeah. Well, and my brother's fortunate because he lives on the East Coast, so he stayed closer to home. Well, but so one neat thing too, which we're gonna try and see how it goes. I didn't go through all the work of trying to get you on Steam and Tabletop Simulator. That's a little bit of a lift. However, I think I can show you the game digitally. It's a recreation, and I just want to give you an idea of how it works, so you can grok it, understand it a little bit, and then when we actually play together, we can take it from there and have some fun. Awesome. Okay, let give me a second. Let's see how we can do over here. Do you see the table in
Yes.
front of us with the box? Okay, so this is Tabletop Simulator, and this is a great way to play with games with folks online. And what it does, it actually recreates the basic game. So here's the box. I'm going to put 2 to 4 players. Actually, Anna Maria is just sitting in here to get us started. But what's going to happen in a second is it lays out the game.
My, oh my goodness.
Yeah, yeah. So in front of
Why
us,
would anyone? Why would anyone go outside?
I still feel it is more fun to play in person, but it's pretty amazing. And so, and you can do things like we can like zoom in on these cards, right? So you can really see all this great work that I was talking about. But so in Floriferous, just to give you an idea, we have this little garden, and the garden is set up here in columns and rows, and I'll talk about that in a second. The garden is this area with the flowers and these smaller cards at the bottom. And then these 3 cards at the top are the bounty at the fence line. That's separate from the garden, and I'll talk about that in a second. But this game is really easy. So in this game, I'm green. It looks like Anna Maria's pink. And what we are going to do is each round, we're just going to pick one of the cards in the next column. And I'll explain why you might pick something. But say I pick this lily. I would take the lily. That's mine. And then just move here. That's my turn. Then Anna Maria would go, and she'd say, well, do I want this card at the bottom or do I want this card at the top? And let's say she takes the top. She takes that card and she goes here. That's the end of the round. Then we go again, but now whoever is at the top position goes first. So while I was first in the first round, she's at the top. She might say, hey, I want to go for this face down card. I don't know what it is, but I might like it. And so she'll take it and go here and flip, and she got a poppy, a very pretty poppy. On the other hand, and actually that's good for her collection I'll talk about. On my turn, maybe I'm going to say I'm going to collect yellow, and I'm going to go pick up this mum. And we're just going to continue along, moving through the game, collecting collecting flowers as we play. And so if we go all the way across the garden, like I just did, that effectively counts as 1 day. Now, the reasonable question would be next, well, thanks, Ed, I understand how to play, but why would you pick any flower versus another? Like, I don't understand what you're trying to do. What are you trying to do? That kind of thing, right? Are you following so far, Mom?
Absolutely. Pretty straightforward up to now.
Yeah. So I'm not returning this in exactly the right order, but it's fairly close to give you an idea. Okay. So as I said, we're collecting these cards. Now, the way it works is, you remember in Herbaceous how there were the herbs and then there are the pots, and one pot wants all the same, one pot wants all different, one pot wants pairs. You remember that?
Yes.
So in games, that's sort of called set collection. And so in Floriferous, you're also collecting sets. But what's unique about this game, and in contrast to Herbaceous, is rather than us all having the same goals, in this game, we pick our goals. So I talked about the flowers, but at the bottom here are scoring cards that you can pick up. So instead of getting a flower, I could get this scoring card. They're called desire cards, the things you desire. And so in this case, this one is 2 points for every orange card. This one here is, I get more points for each different bug I have. Bee, butterfly. This one is 2 points for every daisy. 3 points for every ladybug, and so on. So let's say in this game I'd actually gotten this orange one. Then as I'm playing, suddenly I might be really interested in orange. So as I'm working across here, I'm going to try to collect these orange tulips and other orange flowers, because that would give me more points at the end of the game. Along the way, though, say, for example, I had taken this and Anna Maria had taken that, she now has a bug. There's a moth on this flower, so maybe she's going to get different bugs. And so as she has different bugs, she's going to be looking for those different bugs. And I don't remember if we saw one here, but like if there was another card, this bug, for example, has a beetle, this daisy. This one has a butterfly. This is a really pretty card. And so, you know, what you're trying to do is collect cards, but also collect different ways to score them. And the decision-making comes around, well, do I want to get more of these cards that are the things I'm making sets with, or do I want to get new ways to score my cards? Still with me? You following?
Yes, it seems to me that it makes the game very interesting for future rounds or for future times that you would play. You might want to try different things. So that sounds great.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't get bored with it.
For sure. There's lots of different, you can go in a lot of different directions. Yeah. And a neat thing is once, let's say for a second here, let's say, she ends up going, let's just go here. I'm just going to give a couple examples. She ended up taking this one, and I don't know. I took this lily. I'll talk about the basket. And we've now ended over here. I have, what did I miss? Let's say she took the poppy one, and I took, okay, we both have 5 cards. So at the end, this would have been day 1. And the way this game works is you will play 3 days, and each day you go in the other direction. So now there are more cards here. Oops, these were too close. Sorry. Now we work our way back through the garden, but we keep our old cards, right? So now we're thinking more about these different sets. And so we're going to play left to right, right to left, and one more time across. And that's really it. There are some other little elements to the game. You'll notice, I don't know if I mentioned it, but there was that gnome in the first round. I think he's over here probably. There he is, this gnome. Super cute. Over here, there's this fountain, or the pond. There are these sculptures in the garden, and as you're going through, you can just collect the sculpture cards, and whoever has the most gets some points. There are these fun arrangement cards, like this one, which this one is an arrangement that wants lilies, purple flowers, and butterflies. So if you have a lily, which Anna Maria does, a butterfly, which she doesn't have yet, or a purple flower, you score more points for these. So again, there's some different ways to pick up cards and collect, but it's all about what flowers do you have and what ways do you have to score them. The only 2 other things in the game are, well, let's do the easy one. Remember the herb biscuit in Herbaceous?
Yes.
Well, in this game, we have a cup of tea. So,
oh, that's so clever. Who thought of the cup of tea?
Who thought of the cup of tea?
So
it might have been me. It might have been Steve. It was, each one of these games, Sunset Over Water, Herbaceous Sprouts, they all have had this little edible element, or I guess drinkable element. And this is the one for this game. And essentially, the way this works is there are these little stones on some of the cards, and if you collect a card with a stone, like Anna Maria did, the player with the most stones at the end sort of took their time, was the most leisurely, and gets to have the cup of tea.
Gets to have the cup of tea.
Yeah, and it's fun. And actually, I don't think I've ever showed you the solo modes for any of these games, but in the solo mode for this one, there's a crow that's, is the pesky guest who's sort of harassing you in your garden as you're walking around. And if you're really frustrated, you can throw your cup of tea at the crow. But that's for solo. It's a fun little moment. So the last little element here is we talked about the garden, but there are these bounty cards at the top, and these change each game, but they all work the same. And basically, it's just another way to get sets. And this one says, hey, there's 3 days, with day 1, day 2, day 3, and if at the end of day 1 you have a lily, a mum, and a tulip, or a tulip, a ladybug, and a butterfly, you get to put one of your, and I think it's down here at the bottom here, one of your tokens here. So I can take this and go, woot, and drop it there. So if I did it day 1, I would have gotten that. Get that. So this is just another way to score. Other players are able to score there too. Let me grab, sorry, not trying to make anyone sick. And can score here as well. But so they'll be scoring based on what they have. And then you play, go ahead.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So you can doing multiple strategies on any one day?
Yeah.
Stones, the beauty cards.
At the end of the game, if we were to play all the way through, what would end up happening is you'd have a variety of flowers, you'd have a variety of objects, and you get to score each of your desire cards and the points at the top. So you basically can work in different ways, and you can work, it can add together. So for example, here's this mum, the purple mum with a butterfly. Well, this card says you want cards all of the same color. So this isn't maybe the best example because I don't have another. Okay, actually, I'm going to switch this out just for the example. So here, this one is, hey, you want to have the different flower types. Well, this mum counts as a flower type. That tulip counts as a flower type. This lily counts as a flower type. But then also, I want to have just mums. So this also counts for mums. Just like this tulip also counts for orange. So you can try and build sets going across the different elements of each card. The different flowers, mum, tulip, lily, daisy, and poppy. The colors, yellow, orange, pink, purple, and white. And then the bugs, which are ladybug, bee, butterfly, moth, and beetle. So lots of little different things. You know, before our call, one of the things you were telling me was what the Spanish word for floriferous was. What was that again?
A florifero, very similar, from the word flor, flower in Spanish is flor, and it means abundance, vigorous growth, vigorous
healthy flowers.
Yes.
Full of floral.
Are you full of flowers? Vigorous growing. Are you going to have this game in Spanish?
That's a great question. I certainly hope so. We actually have a full how to play that was done in Spanish by a content creator, Aspie Girl, which is fantastic. But, you know, Herbaceous has seen a lot of localization success. So, you know, hopefully we're still, you know, work well with that partner. So I'm very hopeful that it'll be in Spanish, and hopefully a number of other languages. Sometimes fans of the game will go ahead and like translate it on their own. Floriferous, like a number of our games, is pretty language independent. A game that's language independent means like there's not a bunch of words and text on cards. Like obviously the name of the flowers are on the card, but other than that, and maybe the opposite side of the T card that reminds you how to use it, there's not a lot of words on it. So even
You're
if,
right.
huh?
I think you could use this in my country, in Panama, in this form, actually.
Yeah, if
Right.
somebody knows how to play and they teach,
Right.
you know, and so that's true for a lot of our games, and it makes them, you know, it's a welcome way to do it. So let me see if I'm going to try to bring us back and just finish up, but so I can see you as opposed to the board. So let's see if I can do this successfully. And that was Floriferous. Thanks. You know, it's
really a beauty.
Oh, thank you.
It's really a beauty.
Yeah, I think it really came together, and it was one of those really interesting. Clementine doesn't have this is, you know, her first published board game. She's like just a watercolor painter.
Her debut.
Yeah, her debut. I think she might now be working on some other stuff too, which is fantastic. But I think this will be the first one. And part of that process is saying like, hey, well, we need the flowers, and they all have to sort of be at the same shape, and we need to make them as distinct colors as we can, and distinct shapes. So we went through this really fun process. Fun is maybe not the exact word I'd use, but this elaborate process of comparing flower shapes, and like I've been exposed to more flowers and flower types than I have in a long time, certainly than as a kid. But it's really been great, and I'm really excited for all, you know, whenever anything that we work on, you know, we again, you know, it goes to a video will appear on Kickstarter, and that's part of the process to bring in backers and fund it. But it's such a wonderful opportunity to basically be able to make pretty fun things that don't have to, like, for lack of a better word, take over the world, but just be something people can enjoy and delight in. And so, you know, that's what makes it so much fun to do.
And I think especially wonderful now that we're coming out, I'm hoping, with the vaccinations, that we're thinking garden, we're thinking pleasant, we're thinking color, we're thinking outdoors.
Yeah.
We are here in the East, we're thinking outdoors.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I get to go outdoors a little earlier than you guys have been able to, but for sure, I mean, I've enjoyed when we go on walks just taking pictures of flowers. I never really did that in the past, and I've been doing that more. And it's there's a lot of incredible flowers everywhere. You just have to be paying attention apparently to see them. But anyway, expanded me. Yes. Thanks so much. You know, I really do hope to play with everybody. You know, if we all can get to a good space with vaccines or otherwise, maybe this summer, can show it to you in person. But you know, we'll have to see how it all nets. But thanks so much. And number one priority is the hug. And then maybe after we hug and have some food and do all that, we can go and play.
2 minutes later, we'll play this game.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Thanks so much, Mom. Bye.
Good night. Good night, love.
Oh, yeah. Bye.
Hey everybody, Edo here, and thanks for watching Gaming with Edo. Reviews over here on this playlist, League and Insider videos over here on this one. Subscribe, share, all that good stuff. But most importantly, play some great games. Thanks.